Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Agostino. I'm with Bulletproof Cashflow. Super excited to share some powerful strategies for building wealth through real estate investing. Real estate has been the path for financial freedom for countless individuals and families. The right investments can provide ongoing passive income, significant tax advantages, and impressive long-term returns if you know what you're doing. So today we're going to explore some of the most effective ways of getting started with real estate, even if you have limited money. So by the end of our time together, you should have an understanding of the fundamentals of real estate investing and have actionable next steps to begin your own journey in real estate. So before I get into all that, let me tell you a little bit about me, right? So I started doing real estate about 20 years ago. I was doing single families and small multifamily and started just doing that on my own, using my own money is how I did it. But really about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that, I made the real big push into the multifamily space, partnered up with some really interesting individuals and really got to work acquiring multifamily assets. So today we have about 1,600 units, multifamily deals throughout Cleveland. We also do adaptive reuse of apartment buildings, office buildings to apartment buildings. We do ground up type deals. We're doing net lease. And of course, we help other people get into multifamily as well. That's a real big thing. It's very important to me to help other people get into the real estate game. Okay, so that's part of what we do here today. So if you are interested in getting into real estate, check out themultifamilyadvantage.com. We do a mastermind. We do a 50-week mastermind. We help people get into the real estate game. Okay, so it's a great way for you to get started and get in the game. Okay, so let's get into today's topic. All right, so first, what are the benefits of real estate investing? Now, real estate investing offers many attractive benefits that other asset classes like stocks and bonds just don't have. Number one, you have that cash flow. Regular rental income can supplement your existing income. Okay, that's exactly what it does. Secondly, you got appreciation. As property values go up, as you improve the properties, you make these properties better, and you increase the rents, the overall valuation goes up over time. Third, you get leverage. By using debt to finance the deal, it multiplies your money. So what do I mean by that? Well, think about it. In some cases, you're putting down 20, 30%, right, as a down payment, and the bank is bringing the rest of it, 70 to 80% of the money, right? So the lender, the bank, is really your biggest investor in the deal. But even, you can see, the banks are putting up the bulk of the cash. They love real estate too. They understand that because because they're getting those rents that are paying, right? The tenants are paying, the residents are paying, whoever's there is paying money, that they know that they get to have a solid return on their investment too, as a lender on the project, right? Huge tax advantages, okay? You get these generous tax advantages, these deductions you can get. You can defer the taxes on the exit, so you could just keep rolling money as a 1031. You can get the returns from one deal, right? You sell the asset off. Now you have a big chunk of cash. Rather than taking the capital gains, you take that money and roll it into the next deal, tax free. Okay, so all you're doing is you're deferring the taxes. You can defer them for a very, very, very long time. Okay. That helps keep cash in a deal. And remember, what the end goal here is to get that cash flow coming in. That's taxed at a lower rate, okay? You also have the ability to force equity. So that means mortgage pay down, build equity over time, okay? Another big feature here is that real estate is a hedge against inflation. Rental properties and property values tend to rise with inflation. Why is that? Because the dollar gets eroded whenever they print it off into oblivion. So people understand this and they're using this paper dollar, the dollar that's losing value to time. They're taking that dollar and they're putting it into hard assets, real assets that are real. That's why it's called real estate. It's a real asset. I'm sitting in a piece of real estate right now. It's a real deal, right? You can touch it, you can see it, you can smell it. It's here, right? I'm sitting inside it right now. As opposed to a US dollar. It's based on faith. right? So investors know that. And when we're in high inflationary periods like we are right now, people are looking to take this US dollar and put it into a hard asset. What else is there? Intelligently leverage for a small amount of capital into a real estate deal can lead to impressive capital streams coming in. And that helps build that long-term wealth. And I touched on this a bit ago here, but like I said before, if you get a multifamily deal, you put down 20%, what happens? The lender's bringing the rest of the money, and you get to get this passive income stream that keeps rolling in. Whether it's for you, maybe you raised all that money. You have investors coming in the deal too, right? Everybody gets to enjoy in that cash flow that's coming in. Okay, so that's the great thing about having real estate, owning real estate. And then over time, if you operate the asset properly, over a long period of time, the asset improves in value. Not just because you're increasing rents, not just because of that, but also you're improving the property and you're making it better. Okay, as you make the property better, you're increasing the property, you're doing the maintenance to it, you're making it a better place for the people that live there by maybe upgrading the laundry room, upgrading the lighting, making them feel safe to be there and happy to be there. Those sorts of things really improve the property, and it keeps your tenants sticking around for the long term. Okay, so how do you get started in all this? Well, like I said before, you don't need millions of dollars to get started from benefiting from real estate. Okay, there are many ways of getting into real estate if you're just starting out with limited funds. So here's just some of the ways. Okay, number one, house hacking. You can live in one residential multifamily unit while renting out the other. So residential multifamily is 4 units, okay? So if you rent out one, or rather you stay in one, okay, you can rent out the other 3. The rental income from the other 3 helps offset your overall living expenses. The cool thing about that, this whole, like, say if you're doing a 4-plex or a duplex or whatever, is that the income from the other 3, or the 1, 2, or 3, depending on what the deal is that you're living in, will help offset the overall income of your income. Okay, meaning that if you have three additional units for $1,000 each, $1,000 a unit, also that gets added on to your income, right? So minus 25% because you're living in one of the units. The lender looks at it like that. It boosts your income because they know they're going to take all that income and you're going to apply it towards the property. It's really a great strategy for anybody getting started to help cover their own living expenses and provide housing for other people too. Okay. Number 2, partnerships. This is where you pool resources from other people to buy larger properties. So this not only allows you to obviously raise money from other people, but it spreads the risk among other folks, and it opens up more opportunities because you're able to raise more money to get into bigger deals. Bigger deals are really a better opportunity for many, many people because the bigger deals is honestly where people want to be. The lenders, the REITs, all those guys, they like doing larger deals. If you ever get into bigger deals, you'll definitely get more traction when you go to sell it down the road, okay? Speaking of REITs, number 3, REITs. Another great way to get into real estate is investing in a REIT, okay? Now, a REIT is not exactly like real estate that we're talking about here, okay? A real estate investment trust helps gain exposure to larger portfolios with professional management. But again, it's traded on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ or whatever. It's traded on the open markets. It's like a stock, right, essentially. So you don't get all of the benefits that you would if you were to invest in a real estate deal in your own neighborhood, for instance. However, what it does do is it gets you in the game, it gets you exposed to how the whole process works, and maybe from there, once you learn a little bit about it, you can then get into alternate real estate, like actually doing a 4-plex or maybe investing in a syndication of some sort. Number 4, wholesaling. You can find discounted properties and sell the rights rather, to them for a profit without taking actual ownership. So basically what you're doing is you're getting the deal under contract and you're selling that contract. It's called wholesaling, right? So that is one great way to get in the game. It's certainly tough to do. Okay, it's very, very hard because you're going to get a lot of no's. It's a lot of hitting the phones and a lot of, a lot of getting a lot of no's there. But you know what though? It comes down to your ability to understand the market that home is in, understand how, if the right price you're locking it up for makes sense, how fast you can sell the asset for. And really in that case, there's very, very little money involved for you to do a deal like that, for you to wholesale a deal. Aside from training, maybe you want to pay for training or some sort of mentorship, right? Aside from that, the overhead is minimal, right? So something to consider, right? Number 5, lease options. You can become a tenant with a lease option and purchase a property from the landlord. So it gives you time to prepare for the financing. So maybe you have some bruised credit or something like that, but you really like the house and you think that you're getting a very good deal on it. Maybe a lease option will allow you to lock that deal up, and you have an option to buy it sometime down the road when you believe you can clean up all your credit. If you're going to do that deal, make sure they actually spend the time cleaning up your credit. It's very, very important that you don't fall short on that. Otherwise, when it comes time to actually execute that lease, the lease option, and you're not prepared for it, you have to turn it back in. You don't want to do that, right? So each of these strategies can be started with very little or no money. So they offer a great deal of flexibility to new investors to help minimize risk and get involved at their own pace. Now, if you're looking for next level investing, this is where we're going to talk about that. So maybe once you get your feet wet, maybe you've done some of those strategies I mentioned a second ago, maybe you're ready to do some higher level real estate investing, right? So what does that look like? Bigger rental properties. Maybe it's like a buy and hold of maybe a portfolio of single family homes. Maybe you're looking to do a big multifamily deal. Like maybe you're looking to do a 50 unit or 100 unit or a longer, or something you'd hope for a longer term, right? Bigger deal. That again, the banks love the bigger deals because to a bank, whether they do a deal for $100,000, $500,000, or $1 million, or $20 million, they're still putting in the same amount of effort. They would much rather do a $20 million deal than a $100,000 deal. As a matter of fact, most lenders won't even do anything less than $100,000 in certain markets. Then you have fix and flips. Okay, this means renovating and quickly resell distressed properties for profit. Okay, this means coming up with a complete plan, understanding what you're going to do to the property, how much it's going to cost, sticking to the budget, making sure you have the right people looking at it that can actually do the work, and have them stick to a certain timeline. And of course, the fix and flip is not for the faint of heart. So you're going in before you sign anything, before you take out any money, understand the complete plan from beginning to end, make sure the entire team is committed to that plan. Once they are, you execute. You jump on it and you execute it, okay? But that is one thing that you're doing, okay? Syndications. This is where you pull money from others to invest in larger commercial properties or apartment complexes. I mentioned this before. This is, like I said, you're basically creating a group and everything is registered with the SEC. It's completely legitimate. But what everybody's doing is they're taking part, you're pooling that money together, and you are investing in a much larger deal, okay? The key is really, for many people anyway, is to start small, gain knowledge, build some capital, minimize risk, okay? Then you can progress to larger and bigger deals with bigger potential. Patience and persistence are necessary, they're critical, but if you get the right training, if you get the right exposure to the right people, maybe you even need to move to a different market. Maybe there's even that. But being around the right folks is certainly going to be a big, big help. Okay, so like I mentioned before, the multifamilyadvantage.com, we have a mastermind that goes into some of these things. And I think it's absolutely important that you understand how to put deals together, how to run a deal, right? All these types of things are very, very important. And we cover that stuff too. So be sure to check that out, okay? If you're really interested in doing some of these things that we're talking about here. So what are the keys to success? Okay, there's some essential keys if you really want to thrive in real estate. Okay, first you got to educate yourself. What does that mean? reading books, taking courses, getting to the masterminds, getting in front of mentors. Knowledge is absolutely key, and keeping on top of that knowledge is critical because things change. You really have to watch out for trends. Watch out for trends. Trends will tell you what's happening in the market and how you can possibly capitalize it. Right now, as we record and as we're doing this webinar here, there's this big movement for subject to. Okay, the subject to space is being pushed tremendously hard by many, many people. It's a great strategy for acquiring assets. But why is it being pushed today? Well, because many of those folks that bought these properties back in 20 and 21 where the rates were super, super low, now we're here in 23 going into 24 with higher interest rates, right? There's an opportunity there. There's a delta, a 2.5% rate versus an 8.5% rate, right? If you're able to get control of this asset at 2.5 rate and make the mortgage payments while everything else is at 8.5, right? That delta is where you make your money, right? So there's different ways of understanding these various tools and being able to understand how you can possibly work, how you can help other people by taking it, by understanding it, how it works and maybe applying it, right? What else can you do? Start small. Don't overextend yourself. Slow and steady will win the race. And really what it comes down to is, don't overextend. Be conservative with your numbers. Make sure you see some success. Once you get a deal closed, do the next one. Okay. Then once you do that one, do the next one after that. Don't take on too much too fast. Okay. What else? Do the math. Run the numbers to validate any deals and calculate returns. If you don't have a team to bounce this off of, again, the mastermind I mentioned earlier is a great place to underwrite your deals and bring them to the mastermind. And we do an overview together of your deal, and we provide feedback in real time right there because it's live. So it's very important that you don't get into a bad deal. You don't want that to happen, all right? Because it takes a while to recover from it. Speaking of that, build your team. All right, work with experienced agents, lenders, attorneys, accountants, contractors, property managers, all the people you're going to need to be successful. Okay. And then finally, you got to show up consistently. Success requires massive, massive, massive imperfect action over a long period of time because no one's ever perfect, guys. No one is ever perfect. And the thing is, though, it's funny because I was talking to a friend just yesterday, actually, and he was debating about who to give some business to. And both these firms that he was dealing with were both great firms, great law firms, right? Great law firms, both of them, top-notch law firms. And he ended up giving it the business to firm number two, and the reason why, because firm number one never showed up. Firm number one was actually better than firm number two. I don't want to throw out names, that's why I'm using just firm number one and firm number two. But the point is that firm number one never showed up. They never responded. They never submitted the documentation that this individual asked for, engagement letters, or anything else like that. Nothing. It was amazingly terrible, right? And so, just showing up, being consistent, being how should I say? You don't want to be pushy, but you want to be present. You want to show that you care. That people appreciate that. They figure that, you know what? If you're this way about your follow-up, that means you're going to be this way about how you conduct all your business. And if I'm going to say I'm an investor in your deal, if I know that I'm an investor in your deal and you're always going to be there really pushing things along and making sure there's success going to be there, I kind of like that. I like that. And I think other people would too. Okay. So, as you can see, real estate investing provides a great deal of potential to build wealth and offers so many advantages that there aren't any other asset classes on the planet that really replicate the things that real estate can do, right? So that's why real estate is still the place to be. There's no other game in town that even competes. The cool thing is that, like I said, you don't have to be rich to do this business. I mean, it certainly helps when you are, but if you're able to get creative to get into deals, especially now in this economic cycle, you have to be creative, right? The old, the old 3% rates, those are gone. And I don't know if they're ever going to come back, honestly. But it's okay. When times get tough the way they are right now, the same thing happened in the 70s. What happened back then? Creative financing ruled. Different ways, very, very strategic ways of getting deals done, right? Because here's the thing. Right now, many of my lender friends are telling me, oh my God, I'm not getting any deals. What's going on? But deals are still happening. Deals are still happening, but they're not getting the deals. So who's doing the deals is the question. Sure, there's hard money guys doing deals. We know that, okay? But there's also creative ways of getting deals done, okay? So the key is learn those ways, learn those methodologies, start small to help you minimize risk and gain experience over time, okay? If you are motivated to put in the work and stick with it long enough for the long haul, it's a fortune to be had in real estate. I'm telling you, it is within your reach. I sincerely believe that you can do it if you're around the right people and you execute the way you're supposed to execute. And like I said before, if you need help with this, okay, themultifamilyadvantage.com, check it out, okay? And if you like what you see, book a time. One of my guys will reach out to you. I'll reach out to you, and we'll set a time to talk. Because like I said, I think a 50-week mastermind where we provide all the information that you need to be successful is huge. It really is, okay? This is not a weekend getaway. This is not a 6-week, a 6-week boot camp. This is 50 weeks. It's a long time, 50 weeks. Okay. So it's one of those things that we go through and we talk about everything from building your personal brand to underwriting deals. We have guest speakers that come on. We have all kinds of really cool stuff, and it's completely live too. So go ahead, check that out, themultifamilyadvantage.com. Okay. I hope you got a lot out of this, okay? If you're watching the recording, go ahead and leave a comment on YouTube, and we'd love to get back to you on this one, okay? So again, I sincerely hope that this helped open your eyes to the possibility of real estate, all right? Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next week. Take care.